What's up, everybody, and Merry Christmas. I am recording this one on Christmas Eve, and hopefully if things go according to plan, this video will go up on Christmas Eve. I am back once again. It is your favorite Sharkman, pirate, VTuber, JD Generate of the Channel Teachers Podcast, here to review another episode of Percy Jackson Season 2, Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2, and that's of course Episode 4. If you haven't checked out my review of Episode 3, which also kind of covers Episodes 1 and 2 as well, it's just like kind of one big go check that out. I will leave a card up here somewhere, and I will also leave it linked at the end, of course. And thank you to anybody who did check that out. I think Season 2 has been a big improvement, long story short, and this episode, Clarisse Blows Up Everything, actually fixes and deals with one of the problems that I had with Season 1, which is an overall kind of lack of action. Like, we got a couple action set pieces, like, towards the end of Season 1, like the Ares fight and all that, but we didn't get as many. And, like, if you've read the Percy books, you know that Percy should really be named Perseus Action Jackson, because, like, that kid does not give a single fuck and will throw hands with anybody he deems necessary to throw hands with, and that's pretty much everybody. He does not care. He does not, worry about decorum or any of that. But this isn't actually about Percy. This is another Clarisse episode, and this is actually primarily focused on Clarisse, with a little sprinkle of Annabeth here and there. We'll go ahead and talk about that. Of course, as always, spoilers for the episode. If you have not seen the episode already, go boot up your Disney Plus and check it out. It's definitely worth it. I thought this was a great episode overall. But, yeah. So, in this episode, we get to see a little bit of Annabeth's flashback of her as a child being on the run with Luke and Thalia before they got to Camp Half-Blood, which I think this is the first time that we actually get to see Thalia's actress, which is really cool. Also, she's got a British accent, so interesting. I mean, not knocking it. I was just like, Thalia's British. Okay, cool. But that's neither here nor there. You get to see kind of the example Thalia set, and why Annabeth has such high expectations of herself, because of this image in her mind that she built of Thalia and even of Luke. These, like, older siblings that she looked up to, that she thought, these are real heroes. This is who I've got to be. And it also just adds an extra bit of heartbreak to just kind of see, like, how much she really did look up to Luke. And I think this is definitely, at least in the show, framing it more of, I looked up to Luke like an older brother. Now, in the books, she did have a crush on Luke. And, like, that was confirmed. And also, Luke does admit that he did like her back. That's a whole nother thing. Spoilers, I guess, if you didn't read the book. I'm sorry. I wasn't even really thinking about that. But I think in this, it's definitely more the older brother angle, which I'm glad. I was never really a fan of Luke and Annabeth, and a possible love triangle plotline. And I was like, oh my god, please show, don't do a love triangle. Don't do a love triangle. Like, I think love triangles aren't the worst thing. They can be handled well, but most shows just take it to, like, the YA Riverdale extreme, and I'm not here for that. But it was cool kind of seeing the foundation of what it means to be a hero for Annabeth, and the reason why she's always so on edge and always trying to plan, because she just doesn't want to lose anybody. And it also, remember, if you pay attention in that flashback, it mentions that they fought Cyclopses, or Cyclopes, as the proper plural, while on the run. So you can see why Annabeth does still have a little bit of hostility towards Tyson, even though she's trying her best to tamper down her racism. or speciesism. And also there's some nice bonding moments between Percy and Tyson, which I really appreciate. Also, I'm glad that Tyson is treated as just a kid their age. And, if that doesn't make any sense to you in the books, right, Tyson looks to be around their age because Cyclops is physically mature faster. But mentally, Tyson, as a Cyclops, was like a 5-year-old, maybe even like a 4-year-old, because, like, he would speak in Hulk sentences. Like, Tyson, Tyson's so happy he Percy's brother. Or like, oh, Pretty Boney, when they run into the hippocampi. Like, and I'm so glad they didn't go that angle. Cause like, I don't know, I don't think it would have aged well, and it would have just felt really weird, especially if we got like an actor who had the right build for a Tyson, but talking like a developmentally disabled child. That felt so bad to say, but like that's the only other way to put it. I don't know, I'm just really glad Tyson is just treated as a kid their age instead of Percy's kind of slow little brother who's bigger than him. But Tyson gets to shine here working alongside Percy, which is really cool. We get to see Percy use his powers, which, again, I get it, maybe it's a budget thing, but like Percy does not really use his like crazy ass waterbending powers like too much in the show. And like by this point he's gotten a basic handle on it. He's nowhere near as OP as he is towards the end, but like we got to see a little glimpse of him bending the current and doing all kinds of crazy shit. I was like, oh, this is gonna be dope. Really excited. And once again, shout out to the actress who plays Clarisse, because she does a great job. I'm a book reader. I read these books growing up as a kid. I was like 12 when The Lightning Thief came out. 11, 12. I was in the middle of reading Harry Potter at the same time too. I think like I was on Goblet of Fire at the time. It was like 2007, 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. I was in middle school. Showing my age. But yeah, so like I grew up reading the books and I hated Clarisse. Clarisse was just a dickhead for no reason. She was just so mean. And like to Percy too. Like Annabeth I understood as a kid because I was like, oh yeah, Athena and Ares have beef. I like Greek mythology. I know Athena and Ares hate each other, so it makes sense she's a dickhead to Annabeth. And okay, Percy is Annabeth's friend, but at the same time, Percy's also like a warrior and honorable, so like she should show him a lot more respect than she does. But now I'm as an adult, I start to get it more because she kind of inherited her dad's inferiority complex, because Hermes is kind of a loser whiny baby because he is kind of destined to always job to Athena. And so like him projecting onto his kids like one of those like stage moms that are trying to live out vicariously through their children, super toxic, and you can see the negative effects it has on Clarisse, especially in this episode, and how much she regrets sacrificing her soldiers. It reminds me a lot of Odysseus himself, who like did sacrifice those 6 soldiers, but he felt really bad about it. And like you could really, and like they really kind of sell you without telling you, especially with just all the close-ups on Clarisse's facial expressions, how like guilt-ridden she feels about this. And she's like, oh, now it makes sense, this part of the prophecy. I finally connected with my crew. I connected with these people. I got them to believe in me. I got them to ride into battle with me. I really do feel like they've become my friends, and now I just have to sacrifice them. fail without friends, fly alone home. Or fly home alone, something like that. Like, you know, that's definitely going to come into play. And I also love the little moment where Percy's like, yo, prophecies suck, dude. Don't let that shit get to you. All right? Like, they're meant to scare you, and they're never as you think they are, because, like, the moment you try to interpret a prophecy is the moment a prophecy goes left. That's just kind of the rules of the universe in terms of mythology. You know, look at, you know, the world's textbook example, Oedipus, right? Like, he interpreted the prophecy, went so far out of his way to make sure that didn't happen that he just fell right into the trap. You know what I'm saying? Self-fulfilling prophecies are a big thing in Greek mythology, and you know, the Percy Jackson series does a really good job at implementing that trope and convention from classic mythology into it, and I like having this moment. But I also like the Clarisse still just kind of like took the advice but shrugged it off in her Clarisse way, like, alright, whatever. This doesn't mean we're friends. Like, this kind of tsundere I like with Clarisse, because, like, there's also not, like, a romantic thing there. Like, she's more just like, I'm not gonna say thank you, because that's just not how I operate. You know what I mean? And, like, I hate to bring this up and re-traumatizing people, but I was talking about this with a friend the other day. If you remember the Sea of Monsters movie, that piece of garbage, they gave Clarisse a weird romantic tension tsundere thing with Logan Lerman's Percy, and that felt real weird. I didn't like it. I like Daniela Monet. I'm pretty sure it was Daniela Monet who was from Victorious, who was Clarisse, but I don't know. Like, her having the swoon back and forth with Percy was weird in that movie. Did not like it for many other reasons, but I like that begrudging respect that she's building towards Percy as a fellow hero and camper. And, you know, her opening up, like, you know, I'm at camp full time. Camp is my home. Without camp, I have nothing. I have to do what I can to save my home. You don't get it, Jackson. You have somewhere else to go after this. I don't. And I think that's just really cool. It really, you know, humanizes Clarisse as a character. She's not just a dickhead, somewhat antagonist that we run into at camp sometimes. Like, it really fleshes out her character a lot, and it doesn't take away from, like, Percy. You know, he does take a back seat, but it's more of like a contemplative role, and he does a good job at playing support. And the thing about Percy, yes, he is Percy Action Jackson, but he's also a very good supportive friend, and this shows a lot of those capabilities in him. And, you know, hats off to Walker. He really does kind of get the character of Percy and, like, the whole gambit of all of Percy's greatest strengths. And, you know, Percy's fatal flaw, I personally think, is that he just kind of flies off the handle all the time, which we got to see that when he just challenges Clarisse to single combat, which I thought was dope. I wish we had focused on that a little more. I wish that was a little longer, but, you know, whatever. You know, we only have so much runtime. Overall, I thought this was a great episode, and I think, again, we're halfway through the season, and I think we're at, like, a great pace, and, like, we are doing a good job of building to the, you know, big climax and stuff. We're gonna probably finish out the first trial at the beginning of episode 5 and go into, I think, the Charybdis or is it Circe's Island? I don't remember. It's been a bit since I read Sea of Monsters, so I'm not entirely sure. But overall, I'm having a blast with this season. I really like it. Let me know your thoughts and feels about the episode in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave this video a like to let me know you enjoyed it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you don't miss any other new Percy Jackson reviews and podcast episodes, as well as other reviews and content we have coming for the channel. We do have a lot of stuff planned. Also, fun little engagement question. If you got to choose your Camp Half-Blood cabin, give me two answers. One based on personality and one just based off of your favorite god who you would want to be a child of. Which cabin do you think you would be in? If I had to base it off of personality and traits, what god do I think would be my parent in the Percy Jackson universe? Probably Apollo, if I had to base it purely off of personality. I'm a yapper. I'm a little self-involved. I mean, I'm a content creator and YouTuber, so duh, I'm a little self-involved. That's kind of comes with the territory. But you know, I also love music and art. And a lot of Apollo's domains just kind of fall into my wheelhouse. So I feel like if I had to just choose purely off of my personality, it would be Apollo. I know I'm a shark man and I'm saying Apollo, right? But if I got to choose just straight up out of who is my favorite Olympian god, Hades. Hades always gets such a bad rep, but I always thought Hades was so cool if you've read real Greek mythology. And this isn't just because I've been playing a lot of Hades 2 recently, but I've always been a Hades fan, and like, I'm glad he's getting proper representation. People are, you know, taking the Persephone story, like, in a different angle, as more, like, not less of an abduction and more of, like, Persephone standing up for herself kind of thing. I really like this kind of renaissance and resurgence of a more positive portrayal of Hades. Now, of course, Hades still has his flaws. All the Greek gods do. But, like, if I got to choose a god to be the god of, it would be Hades, man. And Hades has a lot of cool options of, like, different powers and domains you could go into. Manipulating shades, the ghosts. Shadow travel in the Percy Jackson universe is such a cool power. I'm sure you'd get some kind of form of geokinesis, or at least, I don't know what the kinesis type for metal is, but some kind of metal kinesis. I think that would be really dope. Like, I would want to be a Hades child, 100%. Nico D'Angelo is my brother. That's cool. He's a great character. I love Nico. He's one of my personal favorites. But yeah, what cabin would you want to be in based on your personality, and what cabin would you want to be in based on your favorite Greek god if you have one? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a Merry Christmas, and don't forget to leave your thoughts about the episode in the comments down below. Until next time, I'll catch you later, campers. Peace.